Isang magandang araw mga kaibigan! Narito na naman po si Shen-Shen TV na magbabahagi sa inyo tungkol sa kwento ng pag-ibig. Pero kung bago ka pa lamang sa aking YouTube channel, paki-like lang po ng ating video, paki-click na rin ang subscribe button at ganoon din ang bell icon para lagi kayong updated sa mga paparating ko pang mga uploads. Chapter 21. Hannah woke up a little bit, heavy-headed the next morning. She seemed like she caught night colds at siguro dahil din for the past day ay iyak lang siya ng iyak. She was contemplating on the things that she lost because of her stupid decisions. She shouldn't have left without talking to Nate first dahil sa ginawa niya. She left him an impression that she never really cared for him and Alicia. At sa lahat naman ng maibabatong akusasyon sa kanya, yun ang pinakamasakit. Because it was never an easy decision to leave them. She died every day for 3 months and they didn't have any idea how hard it was to keeping moving on when the very reason she is still alive was no longer in her life. Pinilit ni Hannah na bumangon. Maaga siya ngayon. Kailangan niyang maunahan si Nate. First step, be the ideal employee to Nate Sarmiento. 30 minutes later, nasa workstation na siya. Pati si Sarah, wala pa. Nilinis niya ang area nila. Tapos umakyat na siya sa penthouse. Maglilinis siya sa opisina ni Nate. Ang bawal lamang namang galawin ay ang lamesa nito. So, pwedeng maglinis ng sahig. Armed with a vacuum at pamunas, she made her way to his office. She cleaned the carpet at nagpunas din ng mga trophies award nito na nakalagay sa ibabaw ng mga shelf. She was almost done cleaning nang mapatingin siya sa table ni Nate. Never ever touching on his desk. Kaso may nakita siyang picture frame na nakataob. Hindi naman siguro masamang iayos yun. So, she reached for it at dapat itatayo lang niya. Kaso nang makita niya kung ano ang litrato ang nandoon, she had the urge to look at it closer. It was her and Alicia in the picture. And candid shot. When they were on the farm for Ellie's family day, hindi nga niya alam kung kailan kinuha yun ni Nate. Because in the picture, she was hugging Ellie as they were looking at something. On their face were big smile. Why would Nate have a picture of her when he could have simply framed a solo picture of his daughter? She found herself smiling, oblivious that Nate was already in the room. Na-realize lang niya na kunin nito sa kanya ang picture frame. Buksan yon, tanggalin ang picture at pinunit sa harapan niya ng maraming beses bago bitiwan ang mga yon. They tiny pieces scattering on the floor with no chance of pasting them back together. Now, clean that, he said coldly before sitting on his swivel chair. Opened his laptop and never once looked at her again. Hannah watched the whole act with teary eyes. Bakit kailangan itong gawin yon? To tell her that it means nothing to him. Pinigil niyang tuluyang mapaiyak. Habang pinupulot ang mga piraso ng picture na nakakalat sa sahig, he's still mad, she thought as she quietly exited his office. But don't give up now, Hannah. Tama. Kung gusto niyang baguhin ang impresyon ni Nate sa kanya, hindi dapat siya mag-iiyak. She gotta start showing him that she's brave, that she cares for him, and that she loves him. Morning, Hannah. Bati ni Sarah sa kanya. Early today, ha? Yeah, nakangiti niyang sagot. Pinag-isipan ko ang sinabi mo. And you are right. Ako dapat ang gumawa ng paraan para magkaayos kami. That's my girl. Tuwang-tuwa ito sa desisyon niya. Asahan mo ang suporta ko at ang buong pamilya namin. He grind. Thanks, Sarah. Niyakap niya ito. Soon you're gonna call me Auntie Sarah. Tumawa siya. It's good to know na boto sa kanya ang pamilya ni Nate kahit hindi pa naman sila okay ng binata. Go bring him his coffee. Masaya siyang tumango. Nate, babe, wait for me. I show you my love. She's not an expert in love. Actually, wala siyang idea kung paano niya ipakikita ang pagmamahal niya kay Nate. She's just relying on her instinct. Sana lang magawa niya na maayos ang gusto niyang gawin. 3 kalkuladong katok muna ang ginawa niya bago niya narinig ang pagbibigay permiso ni Nate sa kanya na pumasok. Here's your copy, sir. Ipinatong niya sa usual spot ang kape nito. Miss Rodriguez, I need you to bring this to the marketing director. Make sure he has it before the board meeting in 30 minutes. Formal na sabi ng binata habang inaabot sa kanya ang isang folder. Okay, sir. Kinuha niya ang folder. I'm passing by the restaurant. Would you like me to get you anything? No. Seryosong sagot nito. Okay, she thought. Suplado Mats. Be back at once. You need to answer emails for me. Yes, sir. Back in his office, Nate let her have his laptop while he went over some documents. You and Sarah will come with me in the meeting. Get ready. Mamaya ay sabi nito bago lumabas muna ng opisina nito. She was purely concentrated in her task when Nate's cellphone rang beside her. Hindi naman sana niya yon papansinin. Kaso nang matapos ang tawag at mag-flash ang lock screen, she couldn't help but smile. It was her. This time, siya lang. Like the frame picture, it's also a candid shot of her. Pero sa beats ang kuha na yon. What are you smiling at? Parang iritado na tanong nito nang madatnan siyang old smile habang busy pa rin sa pinagagawa nito. Na, she said shaking her head. Sa isip niya, huli na niya ang supladong binata. Kahit pala isang kagaya ni Nate Sarmiento, Jologs din. Imagine a picture of a girl he claimed he hated most as his phone sa lock screen. Bagya siyang kinilig doon. Pero napigilan niya ang sarili niya. I'm almost done here. Good. Kinuha nito ang cellphone nito and returned the call he missed. Isa pa yon. Kahapon kung makataboy ito, wagas na wagas. Pero ngayon, heto, sinasama na naman siya sa mga pupuntahan nito. Let's go, Miss Rodriguez. Meeting is starting in 10 minutes. Yes, sir. Dinaanan muna nila si Sarah bago nagtuloy sa conference room. Bakit kasama ka? Sarah whispered, teasing her. She just shrugged. Martha and Lucas Mejares greeted her when they saw her with Nate and Sarah and jokingly introduced her to the board as Nate Sarmiento's fiancé. The group of middle-aged to old members of the board expressed their delight at the GM's supposedly engagement. Alam naman nilang biro lang pero sinakyan nila yon. Like they were very happy that Nate Sarmiento was finally trying to nut soon. Hannah felt her whole body blush and had the sudden urge to run for her life. Hiyang-hiya siya, lalo na at kulang na lang ay hindi na maipinta ang mukha ni Nate. NS Hotel largest shareholder and director are the ones present in the meeting, meaning hindi sila mga ordinaryong tao lang. All of them are running their own other businesses aside from their involvement in NS Hotel. These are the kind of people whom Hannah doesn't cross path with every day. Miss Rodriguez, in my assistant. Nate clarified with his famous serious suplado look. Yun lang ang sinabi nito. And everyone was back to their formal paces. Not long, and the meeting started with everyone's attention focused on the general manager and owner of NS Hotel. Nate Sarmiento amazed Hannah This was her loving presenting confidently to a group of extraordinary businessmen. He's way too young than the majority of the board, and yet they listened to him. Hannah couldn't help but be proud of Nate. At around lunchtime, in the middle of his presentation, Nate received call and excused himself. It was unusual, as Sarah said that he will be interrupted in the middle of a board meeting. Must be important, she said. When Nate returned, nagmamadali nitong tinapos ang meeting, telling everyone he needed to go. Tapos isinama si Hannah paalis. Hannah was wondering pero hindi siya nagsasalita. Nate looked flustered and terrified. Halos pali pa rin ito ang kotse, and Hannah tried so hard to calm her nerves. Kahit gustong gusto niya na magreklamo o tanungin kung bakit ito nagmamadali. They ended up in a hospital. Nate, kinakabahan na tanong niya. Why are we in hospital? What are we doing here? She tried giving up with him dahil malalaki ang mahakbang nito. He didn't answer and continued walking hanggang sa huminto sila sa tapat ng isang private suite. He turned the knob with shaking hand and they entered the room. Kuya, it was Adam na sinalubong sila. How's Dad? He asked in a broken voice. Not good, sagot ng kapatid nito. He's just waiting for you. It took a while before Hannah realized what was happening. Andun sila para sa ama ng binata who currently lied on the hospital bed, almost already lifeless. A condition too far from the last time she saw him just over 3 months ago. She held a hand over her mouth at the sight of a dying man in front of her. She fought back a sob as it reminded her of her own father whom she didn't have the chance to see in his dying movement. Dad, nilapitan ito ni Nate at ginagap ang mga kamay nito. I'm here. His voice was shaking, and Hannah knew he was just trying to be brave. Brought Hannah with me. Adam said, You'd like to have a word with us? We are here, Dad. He gestured to her to come closer. Lumapit siya at hinawakan ng isa nitong kamay. Mr. Sarmiento, she whispered. Benjamin Sarmiento slowly opened his already dim eyes as a small smile carved his lip. Nate, Hannah, I'm going ahead, mga anak. I will have wanted to see you together, but guess could not. Hirap na sabi nito. Hannah, thank you. If it wasn't because of you, my son might have not forgiven me. You're welcome, sir. Humikbing sagot niya. Thought confused at what the old man said. Please, promise me that you will stay by Nate's side. He needs someone like you in his life. I promise. Nate, thank you, son, for the second chance. I love you, anak. I love you too, Dad, Nate said, allowing tears to flow from his eyes. I'm sorry for everything. Umiling lang si Benjamin. In a code for Adam. The three of them stayed beside him in the next minute of deafening silence. At that way, they watched him catch his last breath and pass away. The two brothers hugged each other tight with tear-stricken faces. Hannah didn't know what to say. It was too painful, and yet she wasn't a child of Benjamin. Paano pa kaya sina Nate at Adam? She's been in their position once when her mother died. Pero andon ang ama niya. Not to let her see how her mom breathed her last. But when her dad died, she didn't have any knowledge of it. So seeing Benjamin died will surely leave a mark in her memory. He wasn't just some random man. He was Nate's father. Hindi niya alam kung paano sila nagkaayos. Pero ang sigurado niya, they were already okay prior to Benjamin's death. And that's good. It should have made the loss less grateful for Nate. I'm sorry, Nate, that you have to see that. Naramdaman niya ang kamay ni Nate. Nate sa mga balikat niya. She realized she is still crying. No, I'm sorry, Nate. She turned around and hugged him tight, which he didn't refuse. Instead, she felt his arm tightened around her as his shoulder were gently shaking. Nate Sarmiento was crying, and he was letting her see how vulnerable he was at the moment. It will be okay. She wished she could do more than hug him. Perhaps share the pain. It's difficult to see him so broken when she was used to seeing his strong version. But this was Nate, a human after all. Hindi ito pain-proof. Thank you for insisting that. I should visit him, Hannah. They were already in the hospital lobby while waiting for Adam, who volunteered to do the papers. She looked at him questioningly. The note he reminded her with a pain and smile. The one you left? Oh, that. Yes, she remembered. The hasty note she left for him 3 months ago. So, you were able to find it. How could I possibly miss it, Hannah? When it's all you have left for me, he asked, pain evident in his eyes. You've known it before. That my dad was sick. I have wanted to tell you sooner, Nate, but I didn't know how in a way you won't think I'm intruding with your personal affair. I'm sorry. No, don't be. It's my fault. You were right. I should have listened to my heart. It took me too long and almost made it too late. When I saw your note, I was extremely mad. I was asking myself, why would you leave me that kind of message when you could have written much more worthy things? It took me a week before I finally understood that you may have meant something and I need to figure it out. So, I paid my dad a visit. That's when I learned about his illness. Kwento nito. And he wasn't getting better. I wish I forgave him sooner. You're still luckiest than I am, Nate. You were able to spend some time with him before he died. I was worried you end up like me. I'm glad you didn't. She smiled at him. Thank you, Hannah. Tumayo na ito. By the way, you don't have to keep your promise to Dad. Dugtong nito at nagpatiuna na sa paglabas. I'm keeping it, Nate, she told him, unsure if he heard, but he stopped on his track for a while before he continued walking away. At dito na po nagtatapos ang chapter 21 ng aking kwento. Nawa po ay patuloy kayong sumubaybay sa aking munting channel. Maraming salamat po and God bless all.